Hello and welcome to this album templates demonstration from avhow.com. Just going to quickly show you how our templates work and how easy it is to create a finished layout. Now first of all, this is one of our full spread designs. The idea of this is the design goes all the way across, so we've done all the design work for you. However, it's still very flexible and the individual placeholders can be moved around just like that. We also have our mix and match ones. Now these have been designed so you can bring in your images here and you can bring in one big image for the background. Or what you can also do, I'm just going to show you here, bringing our layers palette. You can turn the background on and off. We can change its color with the color picker. And what we can do, if I have auto select layer, you can see we can click on the images, and as we do that the placeholders change just over there on the right. So we can bring them back in. Control colon brings up our guidelines, and we can use the arrow key or our mouse just to bring them back into place. So what we can also do, left click and hold my control key down, so I highlight all three of these placeholders, and then I can go layer, duplicate layers, OK, and there we go, we have a whole another set which we can play around. Control T brings our transform box up, and we can move these around as we want. So I'm just going to get rid of those three right now, and let's have a look at this one here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to left click on my placeholders, hold my control key down so I highlight them all, and I'm going to left click and simply drag this across like that. So straight away we've mixed and matched those two templates there. So I'll bring that one out of the way, and again, once we have it in place, we can change all the individual elements if we want. I'm going to actually get rid of those four that I just brought in, and I'm going to show you now how we can create a finished layout with this here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on background first, and I'm going to go grab my background image. So because I clicked on the background, when I drag this in, that actually now appears just there, just above my background layer, and also underneath my black background layer. So I'm going to turn that one off, and here we go, you can see there it is. So now I'm going to go Control T, and I'm going to just drag this up just like that, holding the shift key down. That allows me to do this and keep the image constrained so it doesn't go out of proportion. Click enter, and then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to bring in some images for these placeholders here. So first of all, let's just click on the placeholder. That highlights it over here, which is very important that we do that. And then I'm going to go get an image. I have one here already. Left click and drag that in. Bring that out of the way. And as you can see, when I drag that in, it sat over the top of the placeholder. So what I do now, Control Alt G is the shortcut, and that creates a clipping mask between that photo layer and the placeholder. And so now the photo is dropped inside that placeholder. I can now go Control T. That brings up my transform box. Holding down the shift key again to constrain it, I can make this smaller just to the size I want it, and click enter. And I'm going to do the same for these other two here. So click on this one, and I'm going to go my image, drag it in, and then Control Alt G, Control T. Brings up my transform. So what this does as well is it means you don't have to actually crop your images before you bring them in. You can just bring them straight in as they are and use the Control T function to sort them out. There we go. So on the final one now, just going to make sure I have my placeholder highlighted correctly, and then I'm going to drag the image over the top like that, and then Control Alt G, Control T, so I can shrink it down in size. And there we go. Click enter. I'm just going to get rid of this image here, move it out of the way. Okay, so now we have our three images, and we have the nice image in the background. And we can move these around, and we can do whatever we want. Like if I wanted to bring up my hue saturation, I could just change that one. I can get rid of the color, boost the saturation, play with it individually within the whole layout there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, what if you wanted to move this? Say you wanted to move the box around. Well, every time you left click, you're just going to move the image that's inside it. So what we do is hold the control key down, and we're going to click on these two, and I'm going to click Control E. There we go. So now this one, if I left click, I can move the entire thing around. So let's do that with the next one. Control E, highlight both layers, and then the last one. Highlight both, Control E. There we go. Now what else you can do, we can add a stroke. And just to show you what we can do, let's have a look. Let's bring in a white stroke. Or we can actually pick a color from within. But for now, I'm just going to use white. Click OK. And just to demonstrate this, let's do an inside stroke. And as you can see, the stroke there, that really just shows what's going on. I'll do quite a big one just so you can see what I'm doing. Click OK. Another little technique, if you hold down the Alt key and left click on the effect here, the F, and drag it down, and then do it again, it's an instant stroke for all 3 of my layers. So there you go, that's how to create a very, very nice finished wedding album layout. Very, very simply using our templates. So have a look at the demonstration ones that we have here in the pack, have a play with them, and if you've got any questions, feel free to email me.